Hi everyone, it's Don from Don's Family Vacation, and today we're going to talk about a smaller cruise port destination. Because it's a smaller cruise port, what is there to do? And we're talking about Mobile, Alabama, where Carnival has a pretty big presence, but a lot of the area is rather small in comparison to destinations like Orlando, Miami, New York. So what is there to do in Mobile? Well, we're going to talk about it right after this. Number one, you can tour the Battleship USS Alabama. And if I am anywhere in that area, that's where I'm going to first. When you're used to going on cruise ships and then you see these ships and you see that they're built completely different, they're not built for comfort, they're built for, practice and being used in service. So it's a great tribute to the men and women who have served on the ship, and it's also a great kind of a historic feeling while you're there. If you're looking for a nice place to stroll out there, you can head to the Mobile Botanical Gardens. It's a beautiful, relaxing park-like area and atmosphere, and it's just a nice stroll, especially if you have a nice, bright, sunny day before your cruise, and it's a good way to set yourself into that relaxing mode of vacation. Why not take a trip down to the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception? You don't have to be part of any religion to appreciate the architecture and the beauty of this building. It's absolutely gorgeous and makes for some fantastic pictures. So don't make your religion hold you back from seeing it. It doesn't matter. It's just a great building to be in, and if you happen to be part of the religion, it's even better. Number 4, you can take a trip down to the Gulf Coast Nautical Museum. So you get to see all the history of the seafarers and how that town became the town on the coast and why it was a prominent town at one point for fishing and transportation and oil and all these things. And they talk about all the history of that and everything while you're there. Again, it's a great way to get the feel of the city and the culture of what started that city in that area. Number 5, why not take a duck tour? Because there's not a whole lot of tours. There are some fishery tours and a couple boat tours and a bus tour and a walking tour, but in reality, in this town, a duck tour is really fun to do because you get the combination of both the bus and the water tour. So if you're looking for a quick tour of the town and the city in the water area, take a duck tour. Number 6, another part of history is Fort Colonial Mobile, where you can visit the history of the 1800s and 1700s, where the old cannons are there, the fort walls are there, things that would never stand up today, but those were the means of protection for the cities and everything back then. So it's a good way to teach your kids, if they're with you, a little bit more about the history of our countries. Another gorgeous area and building to take a look at some of the old Southern architecture that's out there is the Bragg Mansion. It's a beautiful it's a mansion, but it's in the old, what you would consider as Southern style, where you have the grand pillars and something that you'd see, out of the old movies and things like that. Something that Scarlett O'Hara would be walking by and things. So if you want some pictures of some pristine Southern buildings, then the Bragg's Mansion is just the place to get. If you're a baseball fan, you have to take a walk out to Hank Aaron Stadium, and it doesn't matter what time of year it is, because it's another part of history where you can see statues and things like that, and a little bit of history of the player, and maybe if you're lucky, catch a game, because Hank Aaron is one of the greatest and most well-known long baller that ever played the game. So if you're a fan of baseball, Hank Aaron Stadium. If you're looking for that place to have some snacks and maybe a couple drinks before your cruise and just unwind and relax, then the number one place in Mobile for that would be the Haberdasher Lounge. It's a very quaint place and full of locals. It has a wide selection of alcohol, beers, and snack foods. And the food is really good for this type of establishment. And the beer flows freely. And it's a good way to unwind from your flights and things like that to get into Mobile and get you all set to board that ship the next day. And if you're a foodie, Mobile, Alabama has their food tour as well. And one of the better ones is the Bitterville Bites food tour. And they'll take you on a little bit of the culinary exploration of the kind of foods that you would find down in Alabama. And so if you're from the eastern United States, or you're from Canada or Europe or something like that, Southern food is not what you think it might be, and you might be surprised at just how good Southern food can be. So if you're a foodie, give the food tour a try. So there you go. As you can see, even a small place like Mobile, Alabama has quite a few things to do. There's, touring a battleship, food tours, Hank Aaron Stadium. There's all kind of colonial forts. There's so many things to do. So don't be afraid to cruise out of that area and stay a few days ahead of time or a few days afterwards and just explore Mobile, because it's a nice place to visit and there's quite a few things to do. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, you have yourself a safe and a great vacation.